After spending the past year in the U.S. receiving special medical care, an Iraqi boy is about to return home for good. We first brought you the story of Mohammed last November, and tonight we have an update for you. It's a story that's captured hearts around the world. For the past year, 13-year-old Mohammed has been enjoying life in America, a land he once only dreamed of.
I had a birthday party and I went to the circus. I had Christmas.
A far cry from his life back home in Ramadi, Iraq. Mohammed's story begins when he was just an infant. He was badly burned in a house fire, leaving behind scarring from his head all the way down the left side of his body to his toes. Then a few years ago, insurgents killed Mohammed's father and his uncle within a day of each other. That plunged Mohammed, his mother, and his 5 siblings into a life of poverty and begging on the streets.
When I first met him, I didn't know what his personality was like. I didn't know what a fighter he was. And I didn't know, what type of spirit he had.
Major David Howell of the Michigan National Guard was providing security on the streets of Ramadi in late 2008 when he and Mohammed first met. After learning about his tragic background, Major Howell eventually risked his own life to get Mohammed out of the country and to the U.S.
He's a special boy, and he's got a special character. Everybody who comes into contact with Mohammed, falls in love with him.
Since arriving in the U.S., Mohammed has had multiple surgeries to repair his disfigured body. One of the most noticeable changes is where doctors put a tissue expander on the right side of his scalp.
They took the area on the back of his head that had been expanded and they flipped it up to the front, and then they sewed it down or secured it with about 60 or 70 staples.
Mohammed has also had several skin grafts, extensive dental work, his left ear reconstructed, and surgeries on his nose, hand, and eye.
Now I can close my eye when I sleep. I used to don't close my eye, just keep it open. Now it's much better.
A boy once scarred by the fallout of war now has something to smile about, both inside and out.
After his last surgery, it was kind of like unwrapping a present, because he was all wrapped up like a mummy. And it was very rewarding to, to see the changes and to know that, how well he's going to be accepted when he goes back to his family in Ramadi.
But the bond that was formed between this unlikely pair won't be easy to let go of.
I don't think that him going back at the, towards the end of April is going to be the end of our relationship. I think that it's going to continue to, to grow and to prosper, and who knows what will happen down the line.
For now, as they look back on the past year, they share memories that will last a lifetime.
In January, he had his first birthday party that he's ever had.
They pulled a trick on me. They pour candles, and then they never blow. Like I have to keep on blow over.
Who knew a boy from the streets of Iraq could have such an impact on the lives of so many back at home?
Mohammed has changed my life in several different ways. He has a lot of promise for the future.
And Major Howell and Mohammed were in La Crosse a few weeks ago to thank Logistics Health CEO Don Weber and others in the La Crosse community for their financial support of the cause. And they don't plan on stopping their efforts now that Mohammed is returning home. They've set up a fund to continue supporting him and his entire family back in Iraq. Now, as for Major Howell, he is preparing for his 5th deployment since 9/11 to Afghanistan this time, and he jokes that he won't be bringing back any children with him.
Not this time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you, when you see Mohammed, he always wears a baseball hat, and some people might think he does that because of his scarring, but he really is a big baseball fan.
Huge baseball fan, huge Detroit Tigers fan. He spent a lot of time with the team while he was here in the U.S., and he actually plans on starting his own baseball team when he gets back to Iraq, called the Ramadi Tigers.
Wow, that's very American.
Yeah.
Your own baseball team. All right.